All right.
So, all right. So we did.
Look at this.
ExcelHash is
2021.
alive.
It is.
Yes, 2021. Yeah.
And look at that. 17 people. 17 people. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is. And the thing is, I had this idea for 2 years before I even said anything. I thought it would just be seen as some ridiculous thing. And then I mentioned it to John Acampora, and he was, and I mentioned it to you, and that was the first time. Then we did it the second time, and then there was Fred, who says, well, when did this happen? When were people invited to do this? I want to be involved.
Right, yeah.
So again, though, I got shy because we did the other one in December 2019. And I was thinking, do they want to do this again? I got shy, and then I just threw it out there and said, yeah, let's do it. And got Fred and then other people. And I was just so surprised that people were really interested and had fun with it. And and all of these solutions, nothing was half-assed.
Yeah. People really put a lot into this fake project that we created. And really, I love watching people struggle with how to use a cutout person and then even. How to use even. That was the deciding criteria. Like, how did they do that? And as I was going through and watching the 17, I was like, all right, how are they going to use even?
Man, so I don't know, what have you gotten out of this, having done it 3 times?
Well, first 2 times, the first time you and I, we got our butts kicked.
Yes, we did.
By these young YouTubers, right?
I was dead last the first year.
Yeah, and then I think I was dead last the second year.
Yeah, and I was right above you.
And I was right above you, right? So clearly, even though we're the best looking of the whole group, something is wrong.
Something was wrong. It was fixed. The fix was in, Yeah,
and I'm so sorry that they were so busy this year, but the people who won in year 1 and year 2 couldn't make it. So we're going to have a new winner.
John Acampora won 2019.
It
was Menda who won the first time.
Got it. Okay.
With the ghastly bugs.
Yeah.
Right.
At the restaurant.
Yes.
I'm not eating any bugs. Sorry, Menda. I don't know who's eating those bugs, but holy smokes.
Yeah. And then John he had those office clips mixed in.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, like, when I ask, what do you get from it? Like, has there been anything interesting?
Well, in watching the 17, I've learned something from almost every video.
Yeah.
Right. Which is great. Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of things. If you can just manage to somehow accidentally learn something.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And we're gonna go through those and show some of that. But what I've gotten was like to think about truly the essence of what I'm doing. What does this thing do? Because I start thinking about, okay, I can use even here, but there's no point. There's something else you can do with even. I think we had forecast. No, we had anyway. Whatever the function was in the past, I would think, here's a way to do this. And then I could think of 9 easier ways. So it had me think about, how do I justify this? Like the cooking show Chopped, where, you got some say a tomato. Well, you can just sit it over here, or you could mix it in with a whole bunch of other stuff and it's going to taste awful. You got to think about it.
Yeah. And when you sit there, you can just say, well, this makes the dish look nicer.
Okay.
And a few people, I'm not naming names yet, a few people justify their use of even because it makes the numbers look nicer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I'm not awarding style points for that.
Yeah. But it's something though. It just shows the challenge. What do I do with this? But then you can't, like the cooking show, you can't leave it off the plate because that's automatic dismissal.
Okay, but now, and this, I might have a vested interest in this. What if you said tomato and I put in potato, right?
Oh, okay.
You know, because that happened to me this time. You said even,
Right.
and I swear I heard is even.
Oh,
right. And so from the very get-go, I've been playing on it is even. My thing is done. I put it in the playlist. I start to watch the other people in the playlist. I'm like, what are they doing? They're not using is even. They're using even. And then I looked. I had it completely wrong.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no no voting this year.
Right.
Because I
Yeah.
would have been disqualified.
Or having to stand in front of some judges and they say, "Well, Bill, you know that we gave you a tomato. Where's the tomato?" Right.
I ran to the store and got a potato.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Cool. So let's see. So we want to look at or talk about some of the videos and encourage people to go check them out.
Yeah, right. So this will kind of be like the Reader's Digest condensed version.
Yes. Fred, you were blown away by that set transparent color.
Yeah. Okay. So most people with the cutout person holding the sign, they put a text box on top of that. But Fred made the person transparent and put the text box behind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've always used the set background or remove background in Excel.
Oh,
that thing is horrible. Have you ever tried it?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I use it a lot, but I have to get it to accept good enough.
Right. Yeah. Because it'll miss one little spot, and you'll click that spot, and then it'll undo a whole bunch of other spots.
Yep.
And he showed me that set transparent color. Like that was at 7 minutes and 28 seconds. I marked it down. It's like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
So it's under picture format, color, and then set transparent color.
Yep.
So, can't wait to use that next time I got to remove a background.
Exactly. That was a good one. I liked it. And he imported from a database. He did a lot of cool stuff in there. Let me look at, that set transparent color was really cool.
Next up, Guen Hopkins.
Guen Hopkins. Okay. The seating planner. A seat assigner.
Yes.
I liked that.
Right.
And an example of coming up with a contrived way to find a use for even.
Okay.
And mine was let too. So I'm not, throwing shade at Guen.
Okay, so as I'm first watching Guen, he says, we gotta have an even number of seats, and I'm trying to picture what kind of a car he's putting people in. Is it a smart car? So like one of the people is the driver, and then the passenger seat. But then he comes around, he says it's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster, yes.
Oh, done. Right? That's actually that's it.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah. I did like that example. Wow. But it was like having to reserve seats.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like this person, Babs, I remember it was Babs, had like 3 seats. So there was one extra seat next to her party, and they found someone else.
Okay. So I'm going to take back what I said. That it was contrived. That's interesting the way you describe it. I didn't catch the nuance.
Yeah, and it's a great looking dashboard. I loved how the words change on his signs held by the cutout people.
Yep.
Although I know a lot of us did that, but there as the second one, it's like, oh, that's cool. And then I'm not sure I need to go back and watch it, but like right around 2 minutes and 47 seconds, I think he was using the lambda to return the image. Most of us are using the offset or index or something like that to change the image out.
Right.
But I think Guen used the lambda function.
I think so. And several people did. And that kind of gave me a door to the lambdas because they're still kind of freaky to me. But to see several people use a lambda to retrieve an image, I said, okay, that is something that I do. Yeah,
right. And I either do it with index or offset, and I know I should never use offset because it makes the whole thing volatile.
Mm-hmm.
So using a lambda, I don't know. I need to go back and watch that one some more. Next, Paula.
Paula, yes.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with Paula. my notes. Here's the notes. This seems to be real data. Like Paula's really doing something for real.
Yes,
and
she
sure
was.
Enough, she downloaded the data from the state. Like she's really doing something for real. That was so wild.
Exactly. That was wild to see something. Because what I had seen several others and they're like fun examples and everything,
Right.
but then hers is like, you know, looking at what high school scores in Ireland broken down by male and female and subject.
By subject. She called it the Irish leaving certificate. So it's like apparently when they're leaving high school or something like that. And for each subject, like carpentry or whatever was much more men, but biology was much higher scores for the girls or something like that. So it was great.
Yeah, it was. And she she even said that she learned something and it was fun to go through this data.
Yeah. Now Paula's new to the competition. Paula, 3 years from now, I hope that you are just having fun with wild, crazy stuff that means nothing. That's our goal.
That's the goal.
And Paula, I'm going to say this with the utmost respect. I wrote down your quote right here. This was at 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the video. Numbers in a text box look nicer when they're even. That's like putting the tomato on top of the dish.
Okay.
I love the quote. Yeah. I was like, what?
Yeah. But it was on the dish. And you hope that you get lined up with somebody who just failed, right? Yeah. But she did it. She did it.
No, it's in, and the words on the cards are changing, and it's a
dynamic text.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. It was really cool. David Abiola.
Yeah. No.
David the Benaim.
Yeah. Right.
That was so cool because
the murder mystery.
Yes, the murder mystery, where he did have a dashboard at the end. But there was more of a story that he told and not some single thing that he built.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, great story. It was a murder mystery. Best if we have special prizes, best use of puns. The guy is just hilarious. Like instead of Sherlock Holmes, it was Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes. And at 155, Clippy. Even as Clippy.
I saw Clippy. Yep. I said, you can't spell revenge without even.
Even.
Yeah.
That was great. And,
yes, it was.
David lives in Cambodia. And, of course, being a classic American who did not pay attention to geography, I think that just about everyone in the U.S. who watches David's video will learn that Cambodia and China do not share a border. That was part of his story. The guy said that he crossed the border from Cambodia to China, and then David showed a map chart to show that's not possible because they're pretty far, pretty far apart. So I'm like, learn something there.
Yeah. Yes. See, it's always something.
And then this isn't an Excel trick. It's a word play. At the beginning, he says there's going to be 18 people doing these videos, and he said they were ex-celebrities. And it made it sound like we used to be famous, but we're not famous anymore. But when I look at the word, it's spelled excelbrities.
Okay.
So that's a great word. We're excelbrities.
Yes.
I can't even pronounce it.
Because I heard him say that. I do remember that clearly. And I did give former.
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to be on TV. I guess I'm an ex-celebrity, but it's an Excel celebrity. It's like Brangelina or something. Not as good looking.
But that was a really good, fun video. Good. He used the cutout people kind of like animation to go through the story and show the emotion and the characters that kept coming back and moving around. Right. Yeah.
Okay, and here I have another weird statistic. I spent 5 hours at a museum today, my first shift working at the museum. And here's the thing, with COVID, no one goes to the museum. So it was just me and Excel for 5 hours. So I have some weird statistics. David wins a prize because he featured 15 different cutout people in his video, the most of anybody.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
There's 19 of them. He managed to use 15 in the video. So, there's another bonus prize.
Wow.
Bonus prize there.
Pretty cool.
Okay. How did he get even in there? It was twin rooms in a hotel, twin beds in a hotel. So it was a hotel where 2 people per room. And I'm just trying to figure that out. So that's a viable use. It's kind of like the Excel Summit where you have to bunk up with someone else.
Yeah.
They're trying to. He should pass that on. He should sell that back to the conference team in case we ever have a summit again. And then another shout out. This is at 9:56. He's already done. He's used all of his stuff, but he keeps teaching us. And there was a trick there where he used a slicer for charts that can't be pivot charts. So like a waterfall chart can't be a pivot chart. He used a regular slicer. And that is the first point in this whole thing where I went back to the video and I clicked subscribe. David, you got one more subscriber today for that trick at 9:56.
Wow.
Just over and over, all kinds of great tricks from David.
Yeah. And spoiler alert.
Yes.
The killer behind the box and whisker charts.
yeah, it was great.
It was
really,
so great.
Really well thought out. And when I sent him a note, I said, oh man, this is so funny. He said, oh, I had more jokes. I just had to cut it off. All right, next up, Mr. Excel.
Yes.
That guy. All right. So I'm older than most of us, I think. And I remember back on Saturday Night Live in the 1970s watching Gilda Radner play Emily Latella, where she would completely misunderstand something. And so from the very beginning here, thinking that the function is even, I decided that I was going to talk about a function called I7. Right now, there is no I7 in California, but they were planning it at one time from Stockton to Bakersfield. Right.
Okay.
And so I came up with this crazy list of all the cities between those two cities, and I was going to make sure that the I7 function came up true for those cities and not for the other cities. I was going to cherry pick just the ones that had an even latitude or something like that. So that the whole thing was just a setup and a joke. And at the end, Rob Colley comes on, and I'm explaining to Rob, and he says, "I-S-E-V-E-N."
Right.
Do you mean is even? So,
right.
Thanks to Rob for being in on the joke. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's about it.
So when you did the thing with even, I didn't quite catch what was happening.
Okay. So what I needed to do is I had all those cities and I had the latitude and longitude pulled out. So I multiplied it by 1,000. And then for the cities that were along the I-7 corridor, I made sure that the latitude was even. So I was doing a roundup. Like I multiplied the latitude by 1,000 and then used even for those cities. And then the other cities down below that weren't on I-7, I made sure that they were odd. So I used even -1.
Okay.
Then I just sorted all the cities alphabetically. So it looked like when you use the I7 function, that it was returning true for the cities that were along the I-7 corridor. But of course, I had faked the data, so that's the whole reason that it worked.
Okay. Right. Got you.
This is me in year 3. Like I was really serious in year 1. My first year, it was so serious and all the science.
Yeah, you did the asteroid, didn't you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean the asteroid that's going to kill a whole bunch of people. In 2192, really serious stuff. But I finished almost dead last on that one. So I decided this year I'm going to go with fun.
Okay.
That was my
fun.
my thing there.
Yeah.
All right.
So can we take a moment and talk about even and what makes it so hard? Because what it does is it moves to the next even number away from 0.
Okay. Away from 0. So -3, the even of -3 would be -4 then, away from 0.
Yes.
Kind of like how ceiling is less than if you're using negative numbers. It's a weird rounding thing. Like, why would you need to do that? And now today, we have the mRound function, which would always round to an even number if you put a (2). But I guess it's doing an mRound up or something like that. It's one of those ones you just wonder, how did that ever get in Excel? How did they decide that that was something that they needed?
Yeah. And then thinking about it, because there is even, and there's round, and there's ceiling, and there's all of these things that could have been used. And that's what I find exciting about this whole thing, is having to think through that.
You mentioning that. Yeah, there's 5 ways to do everything in Excel, right?
Yeah.
And somewhere in my video, so I'm having a lot of fun. I'm about 7 minutes in, and I said, I'm going to pull a joke on the audience, right? And you can see it inserted there. It makes no sense with what just happened or what happens after it. I threw it in. I said, hey, great tip. I kind of doing my Cliff Clavin impression. Hey, a great tip here. If you need to know which interstates run east and west, you just need to figure out, this formula. And the even or is-even formula would have been perfect for that, because all the even interstates, 2, 4, 6, run east-west, and the odd numbers run north-south. So, but I didn't use the is-even function. I used the mod function. Right?
Okay.
And sure enough, a comment this morning from a guy in Europe, he says, hey, why didn't you use the even function there? I'm like, that was an Easter egg. I'm sending you a free book just for being the one who got my joke.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, right.
But you added 3D maps in yours. That was cool. That was,
I love those. Right.
Yeah. Did anybody else use maps?
No. Oh, well, David B showed that Cambodia and China don't share a border.
Right.
Not 3D maps, but the map chart.
Right.
Yeah. You know, it'd be interesting. See, now, this is why I should have done it for 5 hours at the museum. We should have made a list of every single feature that was made in the 17 videos. Like how many different things you would have learned by watching the whole gauntlet. Yeah.
That would be cool.
But instead, I created my cutout person bingo, figuring out who used the most number of people.
Ajay Anand. Yeah.
Right. Now.
Yes. And he, all right. I liked how, so that was the grades thing.
Right.
And he used the cutout people. So if somebody got an A, they were happy. If they got a D, it was the head in the hands. I liked that. I really liked, he had a nice, concise solution.
Then explained it.
Yeah, and explained it. Yeah, and I like how it was broken down. There was the introduction, and then the demo, and then the details if you want all the details.
Right.
Yeah, because it kind of freaked me out when I saw it was 22 minutes. But it was like, okay, here's what I did, and if you want the guts of it, here it is.
Right. That was the longest entry from this year, almost as long as my entry in year one. And I'll never do anything that long again.
Right. Yeah, because it's challenging.
Now, his use of even, he was the first one to do this, although he's not the only one to do this.
Okay.
He used even to color every other column, like every other column conditional formatting.
Yeah.
Right. In the conditional formatting. I thought that was cool. He also, I've never seen this done before. This was at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. He set up the conditional formatting on, I think, one sheet, and then he didn't copy it. He used the format painter and painted the conditional formatting into another range. I never knew that would work with conditional formatting. I knew that you could use the format painter to copy colors or column widths, but I've never seen it with conditional formatting. So that was something I learned there.
Holy smokes!
And then the other bit of trivia, you can win a bar bet in the right bar, maybe with this one. This was near the end, 1931. You can't have a named range called C. You can have a named range called A or B or D or E or F, but you can't have something called C. Probably because C stands for column, and I bet you can't have R. So I thought that was interesting. And, it's the kind of thing, I just listened to myself say that sentence. I thought that was interesting. That really shows I am a nerd, right? If that's interesting. But I was like, whoa, didn't know that.
And it shows that we don't know everything.
Oh, yeah. I definitely don't know everything. I learn that every time I do an Excel seminar. Next up, we have from Excel on Fire, Oz du Soleil, the facilitator. You are the only guy to have a change of hairstyle from the beginning of the video to the end.
Okay.
So, I mean, that there should be a prize for the best hairstyle change. No one went to that level of commitment to change that much in the video. Very cinematic.
Okay.
Very cinematic. And I loved it. 208. You held up the Hershey Kisses, right? And set up that everything in this world is paid for in 2-ounce drops of silver.
Yeah,
that was great. And then you go dark. You go dark in this one. I mean, people are there's bribes. They got to get water or clean water, and you're like, oh, I got to go across town on that one. And you have a trust level, right? If you trust them, they only pay 1.9, but if you don't trust them, it's 15.
Yeah. They do the wrong coffee shop. Well, and this is something that confused some people is when I looked up the image of Cuffy, that was the real Cuffy. The person sitting in front of me was not the person in the spreadsheet. Right.
Yeah, I realized it. It was me. Now, here's the funny thing. here's that Cuffy that you used, that was really, I think that was Alexander. Alexander.
Okay.
And these 19 people, these people live in Seattle, right? These poor people who are the cutout people. I just imagine the day they went to Microsoft and they had them pose 270 different poses. That's the most, right? And now, forevermore, like these little kids, Carrie and Xiao, for the rest of their lives, they're going to be the kids in Office. You know, like 40 years from now, everyone's going to know them as the kids from Office.
Wow.
So I'm thinking about Alexander, right? Alexander, I don't know if he's an Excel fan or not. I hope he is. I hope he was watching your video. Because he would be the only one who would be like, this makes no sense. I am coming. But I absolutely got it. You pulled that sword out because I was not the Cuffy in the picture. No, it was awesome.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I love very dramatic ending at the sword. And then you added the 2 minutes at the end where you explained something. I was happy.
Okay.
I didn't need those 2 minutes.
Okay.
Some people might, but okay. And now, just some inside baseball here. At 4:05, you took your picture from the left side of the screen over to the right side of the screen. I know how to do that. You taught me that. But you mirror imaged it. You were looking to the right, and then over here you're looking to the left. Hook me up. How do you flip that around?
Oh,
is that a setting in Camtasia?
No, you got to do the you can change the X, Y, and Z axes in Camtasia.
X, Y, and Z. You're blowing my mind. All right.
Right.
I got to figure that out.
Yeah, I can show you that. That's really easy because the thing is I always want to be looking into the screen.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm never looking at the screen. I'm always looking away from the data because I'm looking down here at the Excel sheet and my camera's up here. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, this is stupid. I'm looking away. But if I could flip myself, I might start actually looking at the thing. Maybe.
I think that's the Y-axis that I changed. It just, yeah. I can show you that.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like that. It was fun to create that.
If we're creating awards on the fly here, the award for most cinematic video in ExcelHash 2021 definitely has to go to you. Right? That was awesome. The sound effects and the darkness.
The darkness. I went dark.
Yeah.
I wasn't as dark as David. Murder mystery.
Yeah, it wasn't a murder or anything like that, but I mean, you were really doing some bad stuff, and I love how many spreadsheets are there that has a cell for expected bribe, estimated bribe. How much are we going to have to bribe? Like, how many spreadsheets out there really have a bribery cell? You know, those are some good criminals right there.
Okay, who's next?
Alan Murray.
Alan Murray, yes, the fundraiser, the running fundraiser, yes.
All right, so his reason for using even. They are running a bunch of miles. The top winner, they triple those miles, but then it's going to be split between two charities, and they don't want one charity to get $50 or half a quid, so they have to round it to even, so that way each charity gets the same amount. I said, oh, yeah, okay. There's your reason. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Pass on that.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah, I liked he used the cutout people for the winning and losing poses.
Oh yeah, right. Kind of like I think it was an AJ that had the professor that had different, like for an A or for a D.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was good.
And then just straight pure Excel here, not ExcelHash. We have these new Power Query data types. And I'm always struggling with this because that means I got to have a sheet with the original data, go through Power Query, and now I bring the data type back to another sheet. Oh, I actually wrote down, at 257, Alan has his original data in another workbook and uses Power Query to pull it in from that other workbook. So it's never, like I was always having a duplicate of the data back on a hidden sheet. Alan pulls it in from another workbook. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea.
Okay.
I don't know why I never thought of that, but I'm taking that one from Alan. I'm putting that in my bag of tricks.
Yes.
That's smart. All right, John from Excel Campus.
Acampora. Yes. Yes. The seating chart. That when I started seeing the video and I saw it as like a room and the seating arrangement, and I find this is a dynamic array.
Yeah. Now, when I opened that, I said, I've already seen this in a book. I've already seen this in an Excel book, a great Excel book written by that guy from Portland. What book was that?
That was the what is it? Excel Insights, was it?
Oh, it might have been. Yeah,
That's
I know that I've
the
already seen you do
collaborative
that.
book.
And John, yeah, Excel Insights, right? John might have done it much better, but it's like, this is the second time I've seen this. Although I give him credit, very, very timely. He talked about social distancing, that you might need to, have small family groups sit together and have a lot of space between them and the next table or something like that.
Yeah. But it was nice. It was very nice, very clean. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And he used even to shade rows.
Shade rows, right? Instead of columns, right? And at 3 o'clock or 3 minutes in, I started realizing, wow, this might be one that's actually really useful in the real world. Like John could, sell this to other people who are planning events or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I liked near the end, 4 minutes and 13 seconds. He, instead of just cut out people, he put illustrations in, which is in the same dialog box, but so a bonus there.
And I'm glad he mentioned that. Yeah, because in the empty version of my spreadsheet where there's no jobs or anything, I did use one of those illustrations. That's where the dragon came from.
Oh, really?
And then you put in one of the proxies, and then it changes the picture. Because I didn't want to just a blank hole if there's nothing in there. So it defaults to that dragon.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. But yeah, I like John Acampora's solution.
Next up, Chandoo. Yes, I will guess your number. Think of a number between 1 and 100. And then the little kid, Xiao, starts asking questions, and he eventually gets to your number.
Yeah. I liked that when it was fun, and he said that his wife wasn't impressed.
Not amused. I wrote down, Mrs. Chandoo, not amused. She's like, you just keep asking me questions. Well, hey, Mrs. Chandoo, he could have asked you 100 questions. He got to it pretty quick.
Right.
Using actually the logic in a binary VLOOKUP or a binary XLOOKUP, right? So,
yeah. The
Okay.
VLOOKUP true. It does that binary search.
Right.
Cuts the lift.
It goes in halfway, and then it decides which half to go into, and then it goes halfway through the good half.
Yeah. So very clever. I loved that. And one thing about the binary search is, I think if you've got a list of 1 million, it'll take up to 17 hops.
That's all?
Yeah, to find that. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
because you cut it in half, cut it in half, just like doubling, only going the other way, isn't it?
Yeah. But I really liked his solution. It was fun. Yeah.
His cutout person was the kid, Xiao, Shao, and he used a whole bunch of different expressions of Xiao, and like he keeps changing over and over. And in my line there, and this is you know this, when we upload to YouTube, you got that upload process, and somewhere along the way there's a, do any children under 13 appear in this video? Right? And I'm like, oh, Chandoo, you're in trouble. So I wrote down best use of child labor.
Okay. That's interesting. That is interesting, because that certainly is there.
TrumpExcel.
Sumit.
Yeah. This is another workbook that's actually useful in real life.
Mm-hmm.
It's some flatmates, and they're sharing their expenses. So everyone,
yes.
Everyone, puts in what they spend, and then like the one person who hadn't spent anything, like she now has to pay so much to this person.
Yep, exactly. And I've seen that before. And years ago, somebody posted on our website that he and his siblings were doing Christmas, and people would chip and say, okay, I agree to chip in this, and so now how do they figure out who owes who what? And that is a very nice visual that Sumit came up with. Yeah.
Good justification for even. I wrote down, I think doing the alternating rows. Actually, I don't even know what he was using even for. It was in 1528, but my notes don't say what he was doing. He did an offset and an X lookup in a lambda. I thought that was a great formula. Did an unpivot in Power Query, which is one of my favorite things, the unpivot. So not part of ExcelHash, but good. And then the thing that I learned here, you know, we have a problem with rank. If you're ranking things and there's a tie, rank tends to do the wrong thing.
Right.
So he took the number and he added row, open bracket, close bracket, divided by 1,000,000.
Yep.
Right, to make sure that there's never a tie. And he says it's so small, it's not going to matter. No one's going to pay 1,000,000th of a penny.
Right.
I thought that was a cool trick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Lots of cool stuff in there and a nice, clean visual, real smart, and a real world need.
All right. Now, our good friend, Jordan Goldmeier.
Jordan Goldmeier, yes.
Checking vitals. Checking vitals. Now, as many of you know about Jordan, recently became a paramedic. I think that was last year or the year before.
Yep.
Right. What a honorable thing to do, to be out there. And he used his paramedic training in this.
Yeah.
He said he had never heard of cutout people before this video. Right.
Right.
So, glad to bring
And
that along.
I liked how he used the cutout people because he had made a black and white version and a color version.
Right. Yeah. He removed the saturation, and I didn't realize that setting wasn't there. You can take a picture and make it black and white. That was a nice trick.
Yep.
Nice trick.
Yep. And not a whole big story around it, but like a nice clean thing. And he did some stuff with form controls that was interesting.
Right. Although the form controls are going backwards of the way he wanted to go. So he explained how he had to do some stuff over there. And, you know, Jordan and I famously do not agree on option explicit. And now at 7:35 in his video, we famously do not agree. He has no problem with merge and center, right?
Okay.
It's just evil. So, right. So Jordan, next time you're in Florida or I'm in New York, we have to have a discussion.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but wait. I'm sorry. Jordan's explanation for is he's taking blood pressure, using that blood pressure cuff, right? And he was able to say the name. There's more syllables in there.
He said the name of it.
Yeah, right. And he says that the rule is you have to report blood pressure in even numbers, 120 over 80. It can't be 125 over 85, right? And I'm like, is that bullshit, right? So Jordan, sorry I didn't trust you, but I went and asked several nurses. I said, all right, here's the thing. I was walking down the street and a paramedic comes up to me, he takes my blood pressure and he says it was 125 over 85. Do you have a problem with that? Right? To see if anyone would say, well, yeah, he's obviously not a paramedic because he wouldn't give you a number of even. But I finally found some people that said, yeah, if you're doing the manual thing, you would never report an odd blood pressure. So kudos to you, Jordan, for coming up with an actual reason to use even. And I'm sorry I didn't trust you from the beginning.
Yeah, and I wrote that down. I didn't go and verify it, but I did write that down as, nothing contrived just to make it work.
Here's a quote from the internet. Machines, like the new blood pressure machines, they can report in both even and odd numbers. So an even reading can either be a machine or a human, but an odd reading is almost certainly a machine or a contrarian human. Jordan, that's your middle name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Start reporting odd. All right.
All right.
Great video. And Jordan, I love it. Says, hey, my channel's new, right? Help me out with the algorithm. Subscribe. So go subscribe to Jordan.
Yep. Please.
And he spells his name so you can find him on LinkedIn. And I checked, and I'm already connected to you on LinkedIn, Jordan. But I was going to be another follower or connection or whatever.
Exactly.
All
Beautiful.
Right, next up, Abiola.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's one who used the even for conditional formatting. He did the let function. He did lambda.
Yeah. I think he was the only person that I remember using the let function. Nice use of let.
No, I used let.
Did you?
Yeah, a lot of people use let.
All right. Well, then I wasn't paying attention. The only one that I noticed someone using let. How about that? And then the lambda for the image lookup. That was a second one.
Yes.
Yeah, around 14 minutes in.
Yeah, another one of those. Yeah, I wrote down that Paula used let as well. There were other people who used let, but it was usually like nested down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like by the time I wasn't paying attention anymore.
Right. Because when I used let, it was to calculate if your trust level is too bad or the job is too expensive.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah,
And then
that's right.
I had to wrap it in formula triggers, because if the worksheet is empty, I didn't want to have errors sitting there, because the errors are just telling you you're asking me to do something that's not here. Well, so I nested it in something else.
Right. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I love that you would in this underworld, you would grant credit up to 300 drops of silver if the trust level was high, but above 300, no credit.
Right. No credit. None.
As far as criminals go, that spreadsheet, that they really had some good ethics.
You don't double cross people. You don't come with excuses about why you don't have the money. No. You take my bribe and don't deliver. Well, when we got a problem.
Yeah. It makes sense. It makes sense.
All right. So Abiola. Yeah, Abiola had a lot of good stuff there.
Next up, I have Faraz.
Yes. Calculating commissions.
His formula at 845, he didn't just use even. He used 3 evens and 1 is even. So that's like 4 evens in one formula. As far as embracing that ingredient, like, he didn't just take the tomato. He put a lot of tomatoes in. So, complete respect for how many evens there were.
Yeah. And there was X match in there, and he created a heat map.
First time I've ever seen X match used in the wild. I know it's there. I can spell it, but I've never used it. Okay. Then he blew me away, and I don't know how this worked. This was at 446. Faraz, you got to show me how you did this. You have a Power Query custom field, and he didn't use a formula. He didn't use the insert. He just went over and typed a heading over in column E, and the field popped in. How the hell did it know how to do that? Never. I'm going to have to go try that out.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Okay.
And then for us, this is near the end. You're almost done, 12:20, and you slipped. And instead of saying Control V, you said Command V, right? And I'm like, how's he doing this Power Query on a Mac? Does he have some secret version of Excel for the Mac? All right. But you explain yourself. You said you usually use a Mac, but today you're using Windows. But for you, it's still Command V instead of Control V. So you freaked me out. But then thanks for explaining it. So I didn't think that somehow you had Power Query running on a Mac, some super secret beta or something.
Right. All right.
All right.
Cool.
Now we're down to the people who were sending in videos just before the very end, like down to the last wire.
Yeah.
My Excel Online, John Michaloudis.
John Michaloudis, yes. And that slicer, wow.
That was awesome. I wrote that down. The custom slicer, changing the caption of the slicer. I had seen Mike Alexander do that before.
Okay.
But I've never actually seen how they did it. I just saw the results of it. So that was cool. And, the other thing that most people use linked picture, John used the camera, which is the pure way to do that. Like back in the day, all we had was the camera. We didn't have linked pictures.
Yeah.
So it was
I
interesting.
think Jordan also used the camera tool.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yes. So those were 2 of the 17 who used the camera tool.
Right. Even when I do link picture, I think I'm using the camera tool, but it's backwards. It works different than the camera tool. But to me, they're both the same type of deal, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow. But that was a good thing that John put together.
And he even said right up front, he says, I was thinking of calling Oz and saying that, I'm going to bail. Yeah. He said, I'm going to put something together, get out of my comfort level. So that was awesome. Great to have
I
him.
appreciate that. Yes.
Right.
Yes. And the knowledge is there. I'm glad to have it as part of this whole thing. Yep.
Our brother from Brazil. You've been to his Excel weekend, and he's been here to my house, and I was up in New York City with him, right? So he waited till the very last minute. I think like he didn't want anyone else to steal his idea, or he was coming up with it. And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? Mm-hmm. But then as he explained it, this is the only calculation that actually requires even. Except for maybe Wynn's roller coaster example and Jordan's, if you're using a manual blood pressure cuff, right?
It does.
I said, that is clever, right? He's the only person that really came up with a true use for even.
Yeah. Yep. Because there is no 37 bra size.
Right. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're 36 and 38.
So
wow. And initially, and y'all, you got to check this out, right? Because I didn't know about the +4 that bra manufacturers use.
I never knew any of that, right? I mean, he has a serious knowledge of bra fitting, and I don't know why. But, yeah. So if there's an award for the best use of even, that's the winner right there.
Yeah. I would agree. And I knew that how serious it was because I ran a nonprofit for 4 years that collected and distributed bras, and this is a serious thing. And to find out that a lot of women are wearing the wrong size bra, and that not many go have a true professional fitting, it's a big deal. And a bra has a lot of structural things in it because the body twists and they can be expensive.
Okay. All right. There you are. I mean, Valentine's Day is coming up, so everyone should go check out Cristiano, learn how to calculate bra size with Excel. Yeah. That's another, he could probably sell that one and, have 1 million downloads, get people's email addresses and newsletter and the whole bit. The other fun fact that I got there is that in Portuguese, the cutout person that we all know and love as Sherry is Letitia. I'm like, what? And I went and froze that video for a second. All of the people in Brazil have different names. There's Julio, Clara, Manuela, Eduarda, Enrique. They all have different names. Okay. And then that makes me wonder if, the guy that we know as Noah, it really isn't Noah. Maybe he's really, Enrique.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, no, this, I won't be able to sleep tonight until I, who are these people really?
Hi, guys.
Wow. Hello, Mrs. Excel.
Mrs. Excel has brought some lunch.
All right. All right.
Hey, and then actually, really the actual last one, John MacDougall, the Excel YouTube voting tool.
Yep, John MacDougall. He brought it.
He did. Flow and Power Automate.
Yeah.
Blew me away. Using Excel Online. I mean, I always say you can't use Excel Online for anything real. Holy smokes. Right. It was amazing.
Right. And it's interesting, because one rule is we can't use VBA.
Yep.
Okay. And that's more like, I felt that way because folks could wind up just doing anything. And it winds up just being a VBA exercise.
Right.
But I like how John MacDougall integrated everything, and this was an opportunity to showcase what's possible with Excel Online, Power Automate. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was good. And another beautiful thing, I never realized how useful this would be, is Power Query data type. So he had the list of the 17 of us over in column A with a little icon, the show card icon. And you could click that. So now I'm going to a website, right? I don't have to sign in on the website. I click on your name and it tells me what date you started on YouTube, your most viewed video, where you're from. And what a great way to embed that data. I couldn't download it, but I could go look at it. Mm-hmm. Really, really cool use. And then his use of even was for conditional formatting.
Right.
So, doesn't win for even there, but seeing Flow and Power Automate work,
yes,
is amazing. And the other burning question I have is does Flow track the IP address of the voter? Right. So if I voted from this computer and then voted from that computer, would it know that I was voting twice? So I was careful to only vote once because I don't know what's being tracked.
Right. Yeah, he might come get you.
He might.
Yeah, but that was some good stuff. I'm glad to have seen that.
I wonder if on the Excel team, there's a lot of Excel project managers, and you and I know a lot of those people. And I wonder if they kind of get a kick of having their feature featured in ExcelHash for the year. Like I actually sent a note to the Cutout People team. I said, hey, you're going to get 17 videos that feature Cutout People today, right? That's probably the most exposure for Cutout People ever. Like it should be a big day for them, and like I wonder if they're going to their other people on the Excel team and say, hey, our feature was an ExcelHash, was yours?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
In my twisted view of the world, that's the way it goes. So
wow.
For those cutout people, I have a spreadsheet here of which cutout people were used the most across the 70 videos, right?
Okay.
So, let's just see who the most popular cutout person was. The max is someone that appeared in 8 videos. Who was that? That was...
Man, you were on those cutout people. Right?
Yeah, man. I want to create a sitcom from the cutout people. Like the new cast of Friends will be made of these people. Sherry, also known as Letitia in Brazil. Sherry was featured in 8 different videos, the most popular cutout person.
Okay.
Right. So if we can, find the model who's Sherry, we should let her know that she's the number one cutout person around the world.
Yeah. And I'm going to look to see who is Sherry.
Okay,
I see Sherry. Yeah. Right. Sherry. Yep. All right.
Right. So
I think she is one of the proxies in my solution, but she didn't get into the video.
Didn't make it into the video. Yeah. What was she, rabbit or?
No, she wasn't rabbit. I'm gonna open it.
How'd you come up with those names? Are those actual friends of yours or?
No, I just made up names and thought about what.
You and Mike Gervin. Mike Gervin has the strangest list of names. Like my name, it's Andy, Bob, Charlie, Dale.
Right.
All right. I'm looking at these names you're coming up with. Rabbit, Cuffy.
Right. Leaks. Yeah. Her name is Ansel. Ansel in my spreadsheet.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's an old guy. There's only 2 people there that are like my age. That's Rachel and Randy. And Randy showed up a lot. He showed up in 4 different videos. And I'm like, I always go with Randy because he actually looks older than me. And, I throw him in. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. This was a blast. It was a blast to make the video. It was a blast to watch the videos.
Yep.
I hope the people out there have fun going through the videos and see what they learn along the way.
And I thank you for being part of this, saying yes, and helping me stay organized with this whole thing, because there's a lot of moving parts, and I appreciate all the support and the ideas and everything.
This isn't important at all, but it was late last night and I was trying to get the last people in, and someone marked their video as private. So they show up as private in the thing, and I deleted them accidentally, and I couldn't get them back because they were private. But it's cool. I got up 1:45 midnight Portland time and got everybody back in their original order, and it was all good. Went live. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful.
right.
Appreciate it. All right. So we got one other thing to handle, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Two winners. Two random winners.
We're playing for big prizes this year, right?
Yeah. A $200 gift certificate for B&H Photo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And in the past, we kind of thought it was a popularity contest, so rather than have people vote this year, we're just going to go pure Excel rand between. 20th book I've opened today, apparently. All right. So what I'm going to do is we have 17, right? 17 people in the order in the playlist. I'm going to do it here with control letters so we get both of them together. Rand between. I should do rand array, but don't put me on the spot. Rand between 1 and 17. Now the rule is that they both show up as the same number. That's not going to happen. You can only win once, right? So
right.
Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. 12 and 8. Number 12. I should have numbered them. Instead, I'll just count. 12. That is Jordan Goldmeier.
Jordan Goldmeier. Okay.
All right, Jordan.
Well, he's in New York, where B&H is.
He can just walk down the street. I don't know if they have an office in Brooklyn or not. And then number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alan from Computergaga.
All right.
Our winners.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It's going to cost Alan more to ship things across the pond than the gear.
Yeah.
Maybe get somewhere in London. Tell us what you want, Alan. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
All right, that was cool. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, Oz.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you, man.
This has been great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. All right.